Welcome to Comics Versus. We're the Lore Hounds. I'm your host, David. And with me, as always, my co-host, who's just back from Coastal City, is Jean. How you doing, Jean?
I'm good, man. Good morning. How are you?
We are well. Beautiful day.
Good,
First day of
good.
school. Woohoo!
Oh,
At least in
wow.
our district, our kids are back. Nice to have that, back into a normal schedule.
Okay, we're still 2 weeks away, and wish it was another month. So, to be honest,
I hear you.
Both E and myself wish it was another month.
Right? Yeah, perpetual summer.
But we're here, and this is our coverage of season 1 of Lanterns, episode 2, Trust Fall.
As always, contact us at comicsversus@thelorehounds.com. That is COMICSVS, Comics Versus, one word, at thelorehounds.com. And, Jean, I was thinking about this the other day while I was listening to a podcast, and everybody just throws in the, hey, give us a review, like, subscribe, bonus content, all that kind of stuff. And I was just thinking, they're just empty words. We just all are just saying them like parrots. And like, what does it really mean to subscribe to a podcast? Or like, what do you get? Oh, bonus content. Oh my God. Oh, I've got so much more content. Do I really need bonus content in my life? More things to listen to? But, the reason why everybody says that kind of stuff is because we're all trying to make some kind of living at this, or sort of justify the costs, so we can look at our partners and our spouses in the eye and say, yes, the several hours I spent today preparing for this podcast, recording this podcast, editing this podcast actually means something. I mean, obviously we know it means something to all of our listeners. And yeah, for us, we're chasing that advertising revenue, right, to help offset our costs and justify our time. But ad revenue is fickle. Like, there's everybody down the line is taking a bite of that ad revenue before it gets to us. And really, subscriptions are the way that a podcast like us can keep our feet underneath us. So if that is meaningful to you at all, and it works for you, because we know everybody's got all kinds of different circumstances and they're dealing with all kinds of different stuff in their lives. And we certainly don't want to guilt anybody into subscribing. But if it's in your means and you feel like you want to step up and help us continue what we do, because we're going to do it anyway, because we love it. But if you want to send that communication back to us and say, hey, I appreciate you, then we would love your subscriptions, and you can stay as subscribed as long or short as you want. We don't think of anything when people come and go from subscriptions. We get it. Like, life is busy. Sometimes subscriptions build up. You're like, why am I subscribed to this thing? I haven't listened to it in 6 months. Like, that's totally fine. So if it does work for you and you feel like, hey, I appreciate what the Lorehounds are putting down, let me throw them some love. We would love it. There's a link in the show notes, and there's a couple of different options for how you can subscribe. Supercast is one different platform that's kind of a competitor to Patreon, but Patreon works just as well for either one. Works just for us. It's sort of a preference thing to you. But that's great. And there's a couple different options, and you get some bonus content, but it's pretty chill on what we offer. So anyway, that's enough of my pitch for today. You got to make it real for people. If you don't make it real for people, then it's just words. And I hear the words all the time because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and they're just empty words. People just are parrots and just repeating them. So it's just a kind of a, authentic reach out to the community. Anyway, speaking of community, Jean, the Discord is popping.
What do you think about it?
What's that? The Discord? What do I think about the Discord?
Yeah, what do you think about it? It's popping. So what do you think about the popping?
I think it's great. People are engaged. We even got Marilyn into the show, and she was all up in the episode 1 Discord.
Yes.
Dropping all kinds of things. Alicia was in there yesterday, or I think, yesterday and today. With all kinds of things, because she's just catching up with it. So if you want to enjoy hanging out with other people that are sort of like-minded and are interested in the kinds of things that if you're listening to this podcast, you're obviously interested in, and you feel like you can handle the technology challenge. It's not that hard, but Discord it's a different kind of space, but it's great and it's fun. And there's like lots of great conversations and lots of cool people talking about all kinds of stuff. And we have a huge Discord full of all kinds of channels covering all the movies and television shows. We've got books and music conversation going on as well. We have channels for all of the affiliates. So if you're a fan of Properly Howard or Nevermind the Music, there's channels just for those. Dungeons and Do-Rags, if you got, there's channels just for all of those podcasters. So link in the show notes as well. There's a link tree. It's a whole page of links. You can just pop over there, join the Discord, join conversation, but also check out all of our affiliates. And we've got links to all the affiliates in the link tree. I just realized too, I need to add Dungeons and Do-Rag to the affiliate link page.
To the affiliates, yeah.
I can't believe that.
It's okay. You got a lot.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. It's true. We're the Lorehounds we are busy people. We got stuff going on. So today, Jean, I think we'll do fresh takes. We got a little feedback. We got a couple of folks out there who are really excited by the show. We'll take a little break, then we'll get into our scene by scene. But episode 2, Trust Fall, what are your thoughts and feelings? Your big overall hot takes, fresh takes for the episode?
Oh boy. I mean, the show continues to do amazing things for my comic book nerdiness.
Yeah.
So I am loving all of it. I think seeing Hal and John starting to wonder that they might actually need each other.
Uh-huh.
Trying to find that common ground that maybe they, up to this point, what we've seen, haven't been willing to find with each other. Setting that, those seeds. I thought that was cool.
That's always the central tension of a buddy cop, or a buddy movie, right? How similar and dissimilar are we, and how much in those areas where I may be, I don't want to make this word sound too harsh, but deficient, or where I maybe I don't have some skill or experience or a knack for something. You have it, and can we fit ourselves together in this puzzle piece so that we make a whole? And that's always the tension of buddy cop, and they're certainly square in the genre of this show so far, from what we're seeing, and they're doing it really well.
Yes, they are. I'm so interested in who Anton is. That reveal is going to be, that I'm waiting for that reveal to see who he is, who his people were, since they were genocided by the Manhunters.
They're not Skrulls, are they? I'm sorry, the show that shall not be named just keeps getting called back into existence in this show.
No, they're not. No. I'm also interested in have we actually met the benefactor already? Or is that somebody that has so far remained off screen? John Stewart Jr. is not a normal human being.
We got to talk about it.
He doesn't have, in DC Comics, they're called metahumans, superpowered individuals. And John doesn't have a metagene. So he's not, physically anything other than a normal human being.
Okay.
But this episode makes it clear to me that he is way more better than normal human beings can be, because there are some things, not just physically, but mentally, that he's able to do that sets him apart. And I think that's part of the reason why he's in training to be a Green Lantern.
I wonder if the Tolkienians would call him a Dunedain, a member of the Dunedain.
Interesting.
Because I remember when John and I did our very first podcast, which is called The Second Age, we talked about all the different races that are present in Middle Earth, and the Dunedain are, I'll probably get hate mail for mispronouncing it ever so slightly. They are human beings, but they're kind of plus because they hung out with the elves, and they learned all these tricks, and they have sort of this vibe that they picked up that makes them superior without being genetically superior, but they just have some talents and some skills and some knowledge, insight into corporeal existence that gives them an edge to things. I think that's right. If I'm wrong, and you're a Tolkien scholar person,
please
absolutely, absolutely let me know. Set me straight in my ways. But it's interesting. Jon Stewart is not, as you say, an average dude.
Right. And I love that. This I didn't realize that I loved it until I actually saw it this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that portrayal where we can see that he's extra without being extra.
Right.
Yeah, and the fan service things that they did out, that they gave to us, Gotham, Canes, Mogo, all of these little intricacies that they are linking this show to the greater DCU is what a lot of people want, right? So we can make connections between characters and shows and movies, and we have this connected universe. And I think doing it this way is really a good thing, because they didn't overload us. They just dropped little hints that, yes, this is taking place within a shared universe. You may not have seen these other things, but these other things are there. So it's really cool.
And as me definitely being a not DC guy,
mm-hmm.
I was always a kind of Marvel guy, to the extent that I was any kind of guy
right.
relative to comics.
You were a Star Wars guy. That is what you were.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was lasers and spaceships.
Yeah.
Stuff. Micronauts. That was a good comic. I really enjoyed the Micronauts series of comics. That was a fun.
Oh my gosh,
thing.
that's a deep.
Remember
cut.
that?
Yes,
I do. That deep cut.
Wow, Micronauts.
I think they even had some Micronauts.
Why? That's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one.
Going deep. I don't feel. I hear Mogo, whatever, or I hear Gotham or Coastal City, and I'll think, oh, that's a weird city name. But clearly, I'm enough of a television watcher to know that that's a signal. That's an Easter egg. That's a deep cut. That's a hook for somebody who's into that world. But never once do I feel talked down to. Never once do I feel like, oh, crap, now I have to go watch 16 different films to catch up and understand what all this is.
Right.
I never feel like I'm missing out because they threw in one of those things. And I think that's a really important detail, is that we as an audience, no matter where we are, we can just plug into this world and trust that they're going to take us for a ride, that they're going to take us shopping. I posted the get in loser, we're going for a ride GIF in the Discord, because I think was it Davey Mack or somebody was just like, man, I'm not speculating. I'm just ready to go for a drive. So let's go. So get in losers. We're going for a ride. Anything else?
So what did you find? No.
What did I think?
Yeah. What did you think about this episode?
I was really impressed with this as an episode 2, because episode 2s on a new series are always really difficult, because you've got to take that energy and excitement from episode 1, where they're really trying to throw a bunch of hooks at us to get us invested and engaged. And then you've got to take that energy and that interest and translate it into a practical story that has mechanics. And then you have to start setting stakes, and you have to start moving the plot forward so that we stay engaged. So, we talk about it a lot of times in a lot of other shows. Oh, hang on, Jean, there's this great new show. I really want you to see it, but you got to hang on till like episode 3 or 4. And it's like, do I have to really?
I want
to? And this one, episode 1, bang. Okay, cool characters, cool world. This is fun. Like, we got some ring stuff, and we got some bad guy stuff, and, we got some buddy cop things and great characters. And now we have a ticking clock. We have stakes involved, like global, like we're going to blow up a town and the earth is in danger. We've got stakes. We've learned more about the character. So it did all of that, and all that exposition, all of that world building, and never once did I feel like there was a wasted scene or a dropped line or just they were packing minutes. They were just filling minutes to hit a studio. Hey, we need this to be 48 minutes or 52 minutes or whatever it is. Like they really, and this is just expert level television storytelling, right? These guys know what they're doing. Agreed. And they have the freedom to do what they know how to do. And
I think that's the part. They have the freedom to do what they know, right? No one is stepping on their toes.
Eccentric white men who have money can do all kinds of things.
You can play, astronaut and cowboys and
that's right, build castles.
Build castles.
We're going to be talking about that scene too. Oh my God, so good. So, and that's the other thing is there's superhero fun stuff and what about vengeance and justice and all this kind of stuff. But then there's like real social commentary layered in and embedded into this thing. It's great. Last week we were talking about, is this Gilroy? Is this, as Gilroy was to Star Wars, is this to DC specifically and comics writ large? And you and I were texting offline, and that we were thinking about some of the other shows that sort of fit this thing. Yeah. Obviously Andor, right? Because that's the thing. But you brought up, we were both talking about Penguin. You brought up Wonder Man.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
It's not the same show, because it's not as, this Wonder Man is not a detective show, right? Solving murders or whatever, but it is grounded. Is it? But but it's a buddy thing. Absolutely. It's a buddy thing.
It's a grounded thing.
Yeah, it's an exploration of who you are, which is, I think, what this show is starting to get at, what Penguin definitely got at.
And so it's not about necessarily crime or gritty or detective. It's about, here's a grounded sort of, I don't want to say real world, but it's not just CG. It's not just green screen. It's not exist. The plot, the script doesn't exist to serve a green screen so that we can throw CGI fight scenes at you. But these are characters who are portraying emotions and grappling with their lives in a way that feels very real to us as an audience. And I threw in Sugar into which that. My wife and I just finished season 2, and I am so hooked. And if we get a season 3, if I don't do a one shot, if I don't do episode to episode coverage with somebody, I will definitely do one shot on it. It's a fantastic show, and Colin Farrell is so good in it. And I think it fits this in a weird way, in a kind of a LA detective film noir, neo-noir type of thing. And I can't say anything about the plot because it's, but I think it fits this genre. So I like that we have this kind of subgenre of shows where we can get fantastical and weird and otherworldly and superhero-y, but yet still have good story about characters who have tension in their lives, and we have drama, as opposed to just, existing for the green screen or existing for the volume or whatever. So that said, great action set piece with the car chase. I thought that was really good. I really love the sheriff and Hal. I love what's going down there. There was a slight flaw, which we'll talk about with Jon Stewart, but we'll get there when we get to that scene. It was a thing that I noticed that was like they compressed something. Okay. I really like how they split the party, right? Sent John off to do his own thing. So we get to learn about him and how he operates on his own. We learn that he's resourceful. We learn that he can follow through when he's requested to do something. So he's sort of trustworthy. And then, like you pointed out, he's extraordinary. There's something interesting, which then brings up questions about the father. A lot of people were talking about this in the Discord. They were like, but what about the father? Like, what does that mean for this? But then when we see Hal, and especially Hal without the ring and he gets shot, he's mortal. Without the ring, he's a mortal man. He's just a dude. A dude. And without the ring, he's still interesting. He's still a good investigator. He doesn't use the ring at all this episode. except to charge it, doesn't he? That's it. Oh, no, he levitates. No, wait.
Yeah, he did.
He levitates that one time and the charge runs out. He just to figure out kind of as a shortcut.
And then at the end, of course. At the end of the episode.
Oh, right. Yeah, when he flies up. Right. Yeah. So you're right. Okay, so just a couple of minor things. But he doesn't use it to do his job in the sense of trying to solve the mystery.
Right.
And so I love that we learn that without the ring, he is still a competent investigator. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I'm loving this, and I can't. I'm just like, let's go, episode 3. At the end of this episode, I was fist pumping. The end credit music was great. I got that band now on my Spotify list. I've been listening to a bunch of their songs and stuff. So I was super jazzed at the end of this episode. Real quick, I forgot to mention this at the top before we get into the feedback. And
yeah, of course.
First break. A couple of lore things because, maybe we'll do this at the beginning, non-spoilery lore. So if we hear Mogo or Gotham or something like that, you can just sort of give us some contextual clues as to what we're hearing or what we're seeing in these regards. Sure. So obviously Coastal City, Gotham, Mogo, and then the rings. I think you've got some insights for us, just to, again, non-spoilery, but just to give us some firmer ground to walk on.
Sounds like a plan.
So tell me about Coastal City.
All right. So Coast City.
Not Coastal City. Coast City, my bad.
Coast City is...
Watch somebody at me for that. Anyway, I'm kidding, everybody. We love you.
Is Hal's hometown.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's number one. Number two, it's where he worked. He worked at Ferris Aircraft Incorporated.
Uh-huh.
And he was a pilot for that company. So he worked there. It's headed by Carol Ferris now, who Hal eventually has a relationship with.
Okay.
In the comic books. It's complicated, to say the least. Carol also gets powers. It's complicated, to say the least. So those are the things that you need to think about when you think Coast City. As far you can think of, San Diego, LA combined, something like that. If you want to have a real world analogy to Coast City.
Now, my one flaw is that John got from Rushville to Coast City real quickly. By the time that he got there and got back, so by the time he calls Hal to drive to the airport, which is not in Rushville, board an airplane, fly to Coast City, disembark, get to Hal's house, that's, he had 6 hours to do it last time, and I didn't feel like 6 hours from the time that Hal was sitting in the stadium. Now, do they pull? I'm not nitpicking. I don't really care, but I just noticed that. Oh, that was a really quick trick for John.
You're trying to science the shit out of this. No, I'm not sciencing it, David. Get out of here.
Get out of here with that. So we heard a drop of Gotham, right? We heard that Sheriff Carrie is from Gotham.
So
I don't know if her accent's from Gotham. She certainly put on that country twang for us.
Yeah. So Gotham is the home of Bruce Wayne, Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, enough said.
Enough said.
So Batman.
Yeah, that they drop it.
If you don't know, one of the big three DC comics, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. So very central character. The city is very central to DC comic lore. You spoke about Penguin earlier.
Yeah.
The show that we watched last year with Colin Farrell as the Penguin, that takes place in Gotham City.
And we don't know where timeline-wise these things necessarily line up, but they're clearly creating a bit of a shared universe in there. See, how tight or how loose, we don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. James Gunn has said that version of Batman isn't it's a Elseworlds. So
Okay.
that Penguin series, the Batman movie that with Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, these are not, as far as we know right now, the DCU Gotham, Batman, Penguin. These are Elseworlds.
Right.
But the theory still holds that, if you watch the Penguin show, that is Gotham City. So there's not much difference, I can't imagine, because Gotham is never sunny. So whatever you see in the Penguin or you see in Batman, the movie with Robert Pattinson, that's going to be Gotham in the DCU.
So, yeah. So how tight or how loose it is, it's fine. Like we don't need to, don't need to get all the way with this. Now, Mogo. We heard, what was the line? Mogo doesn't play or something? Or?
Mogo doesn't socialize.
Right.
What's up with Mogo is a living, sentient planet.
Okay.
Roughly about the size of Earth. Mogo also is a Green Lantern.
Oh, Mogo's a planet, but a Green Lantern.
Yes.
Okay.
Mogo's a planet with its thoughts, emotions, all of that. Sometimes it allows people or races to settle on itself.
Okay.
If they need to. So it is a planet with a conscience, with thoughts, feelings, and all of those things.
Interesting.
Mogo also is I don't know if I should say responsible, but when a Green Lantern dies, Mogo is an integral part of the ring of that Green Lantern finding a new host.
Okay.
Finding a new lantern.
Got it. And we'll see if we get a Mogo sighting in this show or not. TBD. Now, you've got a note here about the rings, and you want to give us a little bit more insight or context.
Sure, because I saw Alicia had a couple of questions.
Cool.
In the Discord about the rings and what they can or can't do. So she had a question that said, one, what are the limits to the constructs of a Green Lantern? Is the bird that John conjures, is it alive? So no, the Green Lantern ring can't create life. The limit is as far as the imagination of the wearer can stretch.
Okay.
The constructs...
And they have a physical, corporeal reality in our world. So they can open a bottle or get fed into a jukebox machine.
So the ring could create, let's say, a hammer and hammer your toe, right? Okay. You would feel it. There's a physicalness to the ring, the constructs. They exist. But they can only exist as long as the person who conjures it has the willpower to keep it operating.
So if you fall unconscious, theoretically, that thing would dissolve.
Or if you falter in your belief.
If you fail your concentration check.
Yes.
The Dungeons and Dragons players will get this one. If as a magician, if you're using magic and something has the concentration trait and you get attacked or fall in a trap or something like that, you have to roll a check. And if you fail, then that thing disappears or dissolves or is no longer in effect. So there's a world that we can understand this in.
So the bird is not alive, but the bird only exists as long as John can keep it existing. Mm-hmm. The moment he decides, well, this is no longer real, it's gone. There are inherently yellow lanterns. Their constructs can break a Green Lantern's construct. Like in the comics, the one weakness a Green Lantern ring had was that Yellow Lantern's power it could not affect anything that a yellow light ring wearer did.
Interesting.
So it's like Superman and Kryptonite. So Green Lantern, green ring, Yellow Lantern's yellow ring was the Green Lantern's kryptonite.
Interesting.
Fear was their kryptonite.
Okay. I wonder if that's color wheel stuff, right? Yeah. So opposite colors and things like that.
Red Lanterns, the wielders of the emotion of rage, can break any construct from any other ring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because yellow and green are not opposite each other on the color wheel. That's interesting. They're proximal. They're next to each other.
I think there was something else Alicia wanted to know. And this, I didn't include it in feedback, so I'll write it in after we're done. The Manhunters, right?
Oh,
so
right.
She asked, Manhunters are shapeshifters. If a Manhunter gets killed when they are in another form, do they revert back to their original form at death? I thought about this, and I don't have an example of that occurring. I can't think of a Manhunter who was shifted as something else and then being destroyed and then reverting back to their form, their original robotic form. So that I don't have a concrete answer to. I have not seen that personally.
Okay.
When I've seen Manhunters destroyed, they were almost always, not almost always, they've always been in their robotic original body, not as a shifted person or thing.
Got it. Okay. So, speaking of Manhunters, that's a good segue. We now have this central mystery. Who is the Manhunter in the town that we have 48 hours to find? And obviously that has sparked a lot of conversation and theory crafting across the internets. I ran a real quick poll, little informal poll. And I thought, well, until they give us the answer to this, maybe we'll drop one of these fun little polls in the Discord every week after the episode just to see where folks are trending. I put on the list Sheriff Carey, William Macon, Billy Macon, Noah Macon, right, the kid, Zoe Macon, or someone we have not yet met. William got 2 votes, Zoe got 7, and someone we've not yet met also got 7. So I did hear on another podcast that there was a lot of theories around maybe it's Noah as well, and that that could be an interesting thing. I have a theory about what the Manhunter might be doing with the Macon militia. We could talk about it later when we get to the ranch scene, I guess, a little bit. And I know, Jean, you are not into theory crafting, and nobody's holding any bets here. We're not putting down any internet points. But who would you like it to be?
Who would I like it to be?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Who do you think it would be a fun reveal?
Yet.
Okay, got it.
I would love it to be someone we've not met yet.
Got it.
Because I don't think it's any of these people that we have in our current poll.
Okay.
And I'm especially interested in Zoe. Because there's a scene that really sent my spider senses tingling. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is really interesting right here. Why are they doing that in this way?
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think it's any of these characters.
Cool. Fun. All right. Well, we'll keep having some fun with this one. I'll keep throwing the poll up until we get an answer. We'll just keep playing with it in a sort of a fun way. We got 2 pieces of feedback email this week from Connor M., who is a Green Lantern fanatic, self-described. Connor actually sent me 3 emails. Sent me an email with a couple of panels from a comic book. Did you see that email by chance?
I didn't see that one.
Okay.
I saw the first 2. I didn't see the one with the panels.
I wonder if it came to me directly, because it was like a reply. Yeah. It was just a reply to me. I'll forward this to you.
Okay. Cool.
Or here, maybe I can actually drop these into our private chat. Let's see. What does he say here about this? Let me close my email again. Connor said, I thought you might enjoy this from a very recent Green Lantern comic in relation to our prior exchange. It features Sinestro, of all people, showing off why he was once called the greatest of Green Lanterns and explaining exactly what it means to be a member of the Corps. Green Lantern Corps 2025, issue number 1. And let me get it into our little chat here on the old Discord. There's one, and they're really cool panels too. And if you want to scan, or here, why don't I read his first email, and then we can talk about that, and then we'll get into the second email. Connor says, firstly, I have to say Green Lantern is my favorite comics, and I've read it all. Secondly, I'm so excited the Lorehounds are covering it, as you are my absolute favorite podcast. I hope the show can be a gateway for you all to desire to read Green Lantern. All right, a little recruitment here. Connor's not being subtle about his recruitment. Thirdly, I know you have probably heard this a lot, but I just need to echo it. Kyle and Aaron are absolutely killing it in their roles as Hal and John. I have to say this is some generational casting. I see them as embodying the characters to the same degree as the RDJ, Iron Man, Patrick Stewart, Prof X, and Chris Evans, Captain America, Steve Rogers. I'll try to chime in each week with some thoughts as a massive comic fan, but I wanted to start with this praise for the show. Lastly, to anyone who has issues with the show not being massive space opera right away, I'll remind you that the most celebrated run of Green Lantern comics starts with multiple stories of Hal being grounded on Earth. Thanks, Lorehounds. Enjoy the show. Connor M. Quick thoughts on that?
No, I agree.
Fair enough. Did you see these two panels?
Yes, I see them.
Yeah.
I see them. And
I think they're pretty sweet.
That's a beautiful, the first one is just gorgeous.
Maybe I'll post it once we get the episode released. Maybe I'll drop these two panels into the Discord channel for folks to see so that they have context. Because if I drop it now, people whatever. So, all right, Connor then sent us a whole other email. And it starts off like this. I had a thought while rewatching the episode, and I figured I would bring it up to you so you can discuss. In the comics, when choosing the ring, when chosen, the ring will say, David Lorehound of Earth, you have the ability to overcome great fear. Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps. Notice in Hal's story, he says, it said, are you afraid? Is this the show changing the ring's statement? The interesting thing with the comic statement is that Jeff Johns used that language to change how the ring works. Overcoming fear means you can use the ring against the color yellow. I guess Jeff Johns is a
comic book writer extraordinaire.
Yeah. Okay. Not the creator of Green Lanterns, but a core writer of one of the greats of the Green Lantern series, I would guess. You are
he was a big writer of Hal Jordan.
Okay.
So yeah.
Got it.
Some of the stories are the seminal stories for the Green Lantern that we know today.
I wonder if he is where is it in my, maybe I wonder if he's a Tom Osborne of the Green Lantern comics, but we'll get there. We'll talk about Tom Osborne in a minute. That was a great cut too. I had to look that one up. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. Anyway, Connor continues. Is this Hal lying about what happened? And we get a reveal later on. They could reveal later on in the show that Hal lied, and this is what the ring really said. Meaning people who would want to steal the ring's power don't actually know what it means to wield it. Is this the way it happened specifically for Hal, but not for others? Abin could have needed a reckless, fearless person instead of a person with only the ability to overcome, simply because of the mission he was on when he was shot down. In the comics, Atrocious was a prisoner on Abin's ship and caused the devastation. He later created the Red Lanterns. We could see being part of that play out with the Vengeance line. Moreover, in the comics, when Abin dies, the ring informs him of two equivalent and suitable matches on Earth, Guy and Hal. Abin says to go with the closer of the two, which is Hal. Something similar could have happened in the DCU, which is why we have Guy in the modern day. He was an equivalent choice to Hal, and after Hal does something, the Guardians sent another ring to the sector to choose someone else. There is should we pause there?
No.
Okay. There's also the issue of John Stewart Sr. He seems to know about and be training Junior for the ring. There might be a world where they took the Hal Guy choice from the comic and made it a John Stewart Sr. Hal choice in the show. I look forward to the next episode immensely, and I hope you are all able to enjoy this show as much as I am. Connor M., Green Lantern Fanatic. I love the fact that Connor is as big a fan as we are going to likely encounter in our community, and can enjoy and derive as much pleasure and enjoyment of this show simultaneously with Connor's love of the comics at the same time. That means that the showrunners are doing their jobs really well.
Exactly.
So, Connor lays down some serious thoughts here and poses some really interesting questions. Do you have any reactions to what he was talking about here?
No, I think, what he said, again, I agree with. The interesting part for me with the show is how will they play off what the rings can and can't do, right? Because in the beginning, yellow was the kryptonite, right? After Rebirth, I think it was Rebirth. It might have been DC Rebirth, which was maybe at the 2009, 2010, I think. I'll have to go back to it.
Whatever.
Yeah. So you could overcome fear, right? Which meant that you could overcome the yellow light powers. Will the show, like Hannah asked, which one of these routes will the show take?
Yeah.
I think that's what's most interesting to me about the whole spectrum right now is which one of these paths will the show take? Will there be a weakness to the rings outside of them not being powered, which is something else that they will have to overcome?
Okay.
Right? So if you can't affect what the opposition is doing and they have a counter to what you're doing, how do you defeat them? Will that be in play with this series? So yeah,
we'll see.
That remains to be seen. It's all about which direction do they take. Do they do the classic or do they go with the modern?
And I feel, or something that we have yet to,
or something in between.
Because these eccentric white men are the kind of eccentric white men who can build these kinds of castles.
Yeah.
And have the freedom to do so.
Yes.
The privilege.
And also, go ahead. And also with the question of John Stewart's senior, what does John Stewart Senior knows? What does he know?
And everybody's been keying on that. Like a lot of the Discord conversation has been keyed off of, yo, what's up with dads?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I'll say some things about the comic father as opposed to the TV show father.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's take a break, and then we'll start to get into our scene by scene breakdown.
All right, cool.
And we're back. All right. Scene by scene breakdown. Cold open, wake up call. Hal wakes John with a bucket of water and refuses to call the Guardians about the football field deaths, insisting that he's still training John. Outside, the day's whole lesson is fly. And when John can't get off the ground, his subconscious throws up a little green bird construct instead. Hal, thrown by it, tells John to drop the ring warns that it's nearly dead. Hal does a one-time recharge and gives John a new flight plan, which is to go to Coast City to fetch the lantern and keeping the bird alive and feeding Earl, whatever that is, which we'll meet. What did you make of the opening scene?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was so great when he says, fly. I'm with John. Like, that's the only thing you're going to tell me? Like,
yeah.
That's all the instruction that you're giving me? That's everything? Fly? I'm like, this fucking guy, just like, help him, right? But the thing that's so interesting is that when John, comically tries to get off the ground.
Right. I love the way they film that too, with him like getting up on his tippy toes each time. It's hilarious.
And Hal takes like a half step backwards, like, oh,
yeah.
Let me.
Yeah, he reacts. He's like, whoa.
Because he thought maybe he could actually do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For that half second. Like, oh, he's actually going to do it. And what he does is create a bird, which is not an easy thing to create, right? But it's not what he needs to create in the moment, which is exactly what we spoke about in the first episode. How John is seeing the world and processing everything.
Yes.
Right?
The interiority as brought manifest by the ring. So the ring as this
window
portal
into the soul.
Exactly.
Right? And he conjures up, and it's not like a eagle or a bird of prey.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's an LBJ, it's an LBG, little LGB. Was in the birder world, a small bird in the thicket underbrush, and you can't quite see what it is an LBJ, a little brown job. So this is a little green job. LGJ.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, okay, here's this, obviously Marine trained sniper, and we already know what his childhood was like, the intensity of his childhood, the I would say abusive childhood.
Yeah.
And fly. And he knows what it means to fly, right? He knows, I've seen I've seen Hal Jordan do it, and he can't. But what he does is imagine a bird, a little tweet,
a little tweet bird that how many people were not sad when he disposes of the construct at the end? Like, right. I hey, dude, that's your familiar. What are you doing? Like, we all love that. Like, we all loved that bird. I'm going to assert that everybody who watched this episode was in love with that bird by the time that the episode came to a conclusion, and we were all sad. By the time he said,
"It's just a bird."
It's just a bird. So good.
But for us, it's like, it's not just a bird, John. We know you have feelings, man.
That's a really good point, because this is the interiority of John that he's snuffing out a little part of himself that we've fallen in love with.
So this entire sequence is just from when you see John is asleep and this shadowy figure,
It's very horror movie, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're like, oh shit, what's going on? And then all of a sudden it's just Hal with it's cold water. Like, come on, dude. This is how you got to wake me up. This is ridiculous.
Which is building more of that tension between them and Hal being a jerk. Yep. And we see Hal step off that later with Sheriff Carey. But I thought the thing that was interesting too about that particular scene was it pre-primes us for the danger that John is going to face during this episode when he gets kidnapped, which we don't know at that point, but it sort of is a signaling. It's priming us for stuff is about to happen to John this episode. And then another telling character moment is that, Hal doesn't, he's like, why would I, I'm not calling the Guardians. I'm not calling into to HQ, but John would have. He's like, what do you mean you did?
Yes.
Like there's, you're supposed to report in this kind of stuff, right? You're supposed to keep your superiors regularly reported, which he does later at the end. He says, I report to you, right? So he's following jurisdiction. He's following chain of command. He's
right.
Playing correctly in that regard. But then when Hal says unclench, like that was a hilarious line. Which I think, I wonder, Hal is, did somebody say this in the Discord that Hal just challenges people to try to get reactions out of them, to try to sort of pry underneath them? And the one time that he did give John respect was when he did something really transgressive, which was to sleep with another person's spouse.
Right.
Right. And that's the one time Hal was like, all right, Junior, you got some game going on. And
go ahead.
No, finish. Go ahead.
No, I think there's so much that, Hal is not just an ass because he's an ass, right? I think what we see in this episode is also that the toll that is being a Green Lantern has taken on him, right?
True. Yeah. And we see the 10 years ago version of Hal in the little video memo.
I feel like, I felt his weariness in this episode.
Mm.
I felt his age in this episode. I felt like everything coming on, condensing upon his shoulders in this episode.
Nice.
And I don't think he's just an ass because he's born an ass. Hal Jordan is an ass. Don't get me wrong. He can be a jerk. I'm not saying he's not. But I think life has jaded him, and
he's seen
there will be reasons. Yeah. There will be reasons. And we start to see those reasons at the end of this episode.
Yes, we do. A couple things before we move on to the next scene. I like that Hal's advice for Fly is not dissimilar to the advice that John was giving Noah, which is, you don't think about it, don't aim, right? Don't try to mechanically do it, just envision it and then allow it to happen. And in a way, that's what Hal is saying to John. I'm a pilot. It comes instinctually to me. So that's the zone that you need to get yourself in. Now, he's not coaching him. He's not providing him any other sort of additional support to move into that headspace. But it's the same thing that John was saying to Noah. So I like that. And it was really interesting that Hal was generally confused by the appearance of the bird. It really made him pause and think.
It did.
Which is an amazing job that Kyle Chandler's doing in that moment, because it's a blink and you miss it moment. But it really affected him.
It was like, how did he do that?
Yeah.
That was the look on his face. Like, wait a minute, how did he do that?
And it's being weird. And then he, he does the whole ring recharge bit, which I have an audio clip of here.
Ring nearing depletion.
All right, new list. Gratis. Give me the ring. Come on.
Is there a problem?
Huh. Ring gets low on charges at
he's confused here.
One-time trick re-up. He's got to hit it flush.
Ring charge 5%.
So foreshadowing here, like this is going to come back later, the ring recharge thing. And because they really make a point of you got to hit it flush. So, when will we see this come up again later in the episode? So just highlighting that. And then
real quick.
Yeah.
And him telling John to fly. The ring doesn't have enough power.
Is that okay? Okay.
Right?
Good insight.
There's a part of me that wants to believe that Hal wanted to see what the outcome of this would be. Because I have to think that he knew that he wouldn't be able to he might be able to levitate as Hal did, but he wouldn't be able to fly with the ring at that power level.
He already booked him a ticket.
Yeah.
And there's no way that he could have. Yeah. And I think in the interrogation scene, the alien says to him, like, did you bring your lantern to recharge it? Yes. So we don't know. Does Hal even know how much charge is left in it? I don't know. Is there like a little battery meter on the ring or,
It will tell you.
Well, it told us here. Yeah.
Right. But I'm sure that's what I'm saying. It had to have happened off screen.
And he's got to have so much experience with this ring that he has sort of an innate sense of how much it's got.
Because even in the interrogation scene, he tells the alien, I've got enough power to
do what I need to do. Yeah.
To just, encapsulate the blast.
And that took a lot of power.
I've got enough power for that. And that took a lot. But he said, I have enough for that. I know I have enough for that. Don't worry about that.
So kind of a good safety tether measure so that if John did fly and he went supersonic and lost control, he wouldn't go far because the ring isn't going to, let him get very far if he is able to get far at all.
Yeah, I just think I thought in the moment that he knew that he wouldn't be able to fly.
Right.
And he was looking to see what would come out of that.
Got it. Well, he got a bird.
What came out of it was something that he was not prepared for.
And that bird is existing without the ring because the ring doesn't have enough power to keep it running.
Well, it's not the ring. As long as the ring is powered at some level. So
the ring was the tool that translated something else going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now the bird is solely existing because of John's willpower.
Exactly. Whoa, John can use the power without the ring. That's the point.
It's only existing because of John's willpower.
There you go. Okay, let's move on. Title card, right? Oh, there's so much good stuff there. Title card. Did you notice the lantern color and text is more yellow than it is green? Like clearly signaling to me. We'll see. I got into that with the Dungeons and Durags guys last week. I think you're going to go on next week. You're scheduled to hang out with those guys after episode 3. I am excited for that episode. I can't wait to hear that. All right, Jean, it is a weird technology day. We had a problem with our system. We have changed to a different recording platform for this podcast. In the meantime, lots is going on. My 6th grader has come home from her first day of school, which is crazy. They're doing their homework, her and her friend. And I was talking to a client. I had a client meeting earlier, and we were having all kinds of technology. It's just been a technology challenging day. So anyway, I think we're ready now. So if folks notice any kind of audio quality difference or whatever, I'm going to try and smooth that out, but I'll see if we can get us into a good position for this next part of our conversation. And I think we left off, we were just about to get into the town meeting stuff right after the title card. So we've got Hal revisits the football field and discovers that the magnetometers don't actually react to metal. He drives through a strangely empty Rushville and burns the last of his ring charge levitating up to spot the cars gathered around the American Legion post. He heads over to the post and he goes through a magnetometer in the entrance there, and we catch a glimpse of the alien device. Blink and you'll miss it. And he sort of stumbles into the middle of a all-town meeting. Billy then sidles in and informs him that the pending charges have been dropped, and then Hal excuses himself to take a phone call from John. All right. Time-honored trope of the detective going back to the scene of the crime and trying to take in all of the details. What did you make of this?
What a guy Hal is, huh? He just walks in and is like, y'all talking about me?
Like, talking about me? You talking about me?
I'm here. Y'all want to keep talking about me? Let me hear what y'all got to say. And that was his whole thing, man. He just doesn't care. You know what I mean? He walks into the room and he automatically wants to have command of the room. Right? He wants all eyes on him, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get that attention. And, you know, the back and forth between him and Sheriff Gary is just like one of the highlights so far, I think.
And it keeps going. They just keep rolling. I love their dynamic.
The way that they bounce, you know, off of each other, I think is really fun. And you get to see, you know, how being not nice, you know, he's beyond prickly. He's just not nice. And you're wondering if he's not nice because this is just him, or is he not nice because of, again, like I alluded to earlier, is he not nice because of what he's gone through over the last 30 years?
Right.
Like, did he start off being not nice? Or did this job grind him into this? And it's an interesting question for me to think about as we go throughout the season.
And we have that hologram snapshot of who he was, sort of a version of him anyway, let's say, because it's not him. It's a hologram version of him from 10 years ago. But at least it doesn't feel like he had those as sharp corners to his personality back then.
It seemed
he might have been salty, but he wasn't. Yeah, more fun.
Right? Yeah, more fun. Like less of, you know, just seemed not as serious.
Well, here, let me ask you this question. When you have somebody like a Sinestro, who we learn about this episode, and we learn about the broad contours of their relationship, and he's been dealing with, you know, Green Lantern High Command for however many years, he's probably not unlike a certain queen we know from a certain other television show. It's probably the case that he's had to do stuff that has affected him really profoundly. And his sense of the world and his sense of himself in the world. You know, hopefully we're going to learn more about the Sinestro relationship and what came before and who were they to each other. But I would guess that Hal has had to do some things as an intergalactic space cop that really have affected his outlook on life and where he sees himself in that.
I think I would agree and add to it him being the first human. Like,
good point.
What has that done to him?
Right.
The barriers and the fights that he's had to overcome, being the first human Lantern. You know, was there resistance to him even having the ring? You know what I mean? How welcoming were the Guardians to this development? How, you know, forthcoming were they with information, sharing with him? So there's a lot of layers that we don't know about Hal right now, but to just simply know that he's not an ass just for the sake of being an ass. That's what I want to just make clear.
And let's flip it from the point of view of the Green Lantern Corps to the fact that as a human being, he has to figure out who he is to humanity. Right? What's the line? He said, "Oh, this guy wanted, I did this, this guy, he wanted to give me a house, so I decided to stop emasculating him
in front of his child."
Yeah, and just accept the house. And so now I live in this ginormous mansion that's empty and whatnot. Who is he to humanity, to a planet of however many cultures and languages that we speak, and the fact that if he wants to go get stop at a nice taco stand or something like that, he's got to spend 15, 20 minutes of his time taking how many selfies before he can even get to order. And then everybody's just giving him stuff for free on the house. Right. So that's got to mess with his head well.
And also to that end, when he first meets Sheriff Carey and they're like arguing about who has jurisdiction, right? Like what type of guardrails or, has the earth governments put on him. Like you can do this, but you can't do that. Whereas he's answering to the people on Earth and he's answering to the Guardians. And, for 30 years, it's got to build up, right? It's got to build up. So it'll be interesting to see if we get to see more of how and why he is the way that he is currently,
Right. So starting off this scene, time-honored, like I was saying before, time-honored trope of the detective show, going to the crime scene, absorbing, taking it all in. Were you, I don't think you and I have we ever talked, how much have we talked about The Wire, you and I?
Not a lot, not a whole lot.
And I believe you're pro The Wire.
Yeah.
You're not negative The Wire. I don't want to make assumptions about people.
You can make assumptions about me. That's
all right.
It's okay.
I know you have strong toes.
Yes.
Because
I'm definitely, pro Raya. Yeah.
So there's one of my favorite crime scene investigation scenes are the two main characters going into you remember the fuckity fuck with the refrigerator door and the window, and they're trying to. Do you remember that?
God, I remember the expletive laden.
Yeah, and that's all they say for like 5 minutes as they're like trying to trace the path of this bullet and stuff like that. So yeah, I always think of that. That's my, that's a baseline scene. If anybody's curious, I'm sure somebody has clipped it on YouTube, but the absolute classic scene. But I don't think that the grill of a Toyota Camry these days is ferrous metal. So why is he ripping the bumper off of that thing? That thing is like fiberglass and plastic. That is not the tire iron that he pulled. That would have been sufficient to set off the magnetometer. So I don't know what that was all about. But we do see when he goes into the American Legion up in the little corner, there it is there. Obviously we get a flash of it later, but it's there in the American Legion scene.
Real quick, I'm trying to remember who posted it, but I saw someone post on one of the platforms, Threads or something like that, or Blue Sky, and they said that in the Super Friends cartoon, there was the Legion of Doom.
Yeah,
and that the building, the American Legion building that he was in, looked remarkably like that cartoon building from the Legion of Doom. And then I went back to look at it and I was like, oh, wow, that's actually a great pull. So I don't know. I don't think anything is done unintentionally.
Sure.
Because the shot was him looking directly at that. And on the building, it says Legion of, I forgot what it was.
It just says Legion. I looked because I was trying to understand if it was at YMCA, American, what was it, a gymnasium? And it says, I believe it just says Legion.
Yeah, so that shot definitely looks like
That's great.
the headquarters for the Legion of Doom
Deep
in
cuts.
the cartoon.
I
Yeah,
love it.
It was crazy.
Very good, very good. And then the funniness of him bumping everybody down the row, and then when Billy shows up, they got to bump again. And then they're chit chatting, and
loudly too. He doesn't care. He's just like, I'm not lowering my voice.
What does he say to
you shush me?
I need a few seconds of your time, and she's just like, that's like you pretty much used it all. So good, so good. And then there again, I'm not sure. I can't remember all that was said, but he and Billy have quite a conversation, and he does sort of let Billy into some of his thinking about like what he's doing with the case. I'm not sure what to make of it all, but then that also calls into question like, who is Billy? And later we learn that Sheriff Carey says that she has an unsmooth marriage, and what is she really doing as the sheriff in this town? So, there's some question mark clouds hanging over Billy and what he's really up to. Is he really as innocent as he is? And I'm not saying I'm not putting any internet points that he's the manhunter. I'm just saying, how deep is he down the rabbit hole of the Macon
family business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, family business. Exactly. Anything else?
No. I just thought this was a great showing of Hal just,
being Hal.
Wanting to be the center of attention. They can't help himself but to be the center of attention.
All right. Of lanterns and bodies. Over the phone, Hal talks John through finding his house key and where to find the lantern. In the closet, John finds Hal's Green Lantern suit and the box where the lantern is kept. Turns out that the box is a voice-activated safe with its own pocket dimension. And John is able to retrieve the lantern. While John feeds Earl, Hal collects the alien bodies from the morgue, drives them to the football stadium, and discovers that the magnetometers are actually alien detectors disguised as metal detectors. So I had a big lore question here about Mogo, but I think we've already covered that. So that's cool. What did you think of that as a password code to open the safe?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Like you said, they're not hitting you over the head with these things, and they're just adding them into the story, and it feels natural. Mm-hmm. Like, why wouldn't that be the password? Who else is going to know about this on Earth?
Right.
No one.
Right. Did you notice that the bird flew into the pocket dimension?
I did.
And it was flying around in there?
In there. I did.
And I was like, okay.
But this is what we spoke about earlier. When I first said that that John isn't a meta-human, right? Doesn't have superpowers. But then when we're talking about the construct that he has, we know the ring is without power, but still the construct exists. So, yeah, when it flew into, and I didn't really pay attention to the bird, but when he's in the house, when he's in that scene is when I started to really pay attention to the bird. Because I had totally you're not focusing on it.
Yeah.
But then I started to focus on it. Wait a minute, the bird's still here. Like, he flew with the bird.
Yeah.
And the bird's still here.
Right. How do you get through TSA? Right.
Not even that part. To me, it was just like, the bird is still here. Like, what the fuck is going on here? How can it be possible that the bird is still here?
So far away from the ring. Theoretically.
Not even so far away from the ring, but when I know the ring doesn't have power.
Right.
The ring at this, he's retrieving the battery because the ring is dead.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, wait a minute.
I love that this show is like blowing the minds of the comic book community and in the best possible ways. Like, oh, yeah, what they're putting down is really cool, and we comic book people are grooving on it because the rest of us non-comic book folks are like, this is cool.
Right. And it is really cool to think about what does that mean for not only John, but what does that mean for the wider DCU? Right? Because when I think about the ending of episode 1, right? Now we're talking about this bird. I got the bird on my mind now. I'm sorry. When I think about the ending of episode 1, when John looks down and he examines Hal's finger, and we see there's no ring on John's finger, and there's no ring on Hal's finger. Does that matter?
I didn't even put that together until
like the
now.
bird
Does
is
John,
making me ask questions.
Does John need the ring? How many years later was that?
10.
Does John need the ring?
And not only does that matter, my man John Stewart now, 10 years prior, he's clean shaven. Now my man's sporting a goatee.
Yep.
Like we here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know I had conversations with my friends many times. Like, yo, can't trust a black man that ain't got no facial hair. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, John came through with the goatee. Mm-hmm. And now, not only did he come through with the goatee, now I'm seeing that this construct that he's created is still around, even though we know the ring is depowered. Like, I need to understand this.
Sweet. I love it. That's so great.
And the first time I thought about that was in this scene when we see the bird is still here.
Right. I love the whole thing around the suit, and he ends up bringing it, obviously. Yeah. I love the joke about, figure out how to use the bathroom when you're wearing one of these crazy superhero costumes. Like, yeah, that's I get that. That's a real concern. Comfort, right? Is the suit comfortable to wear for long periods of time?
I love that scene when he's holding it up to the mirror.
That was my next note in the outline.
Okay. I didn't.
100%, right? He's like, how is this suit gonna? Which then, when we flash forward back to episode 1, and he's got his goatee and he's got no ring, that makes me even think even more. Here he is sporting the suit in the mirror. Like, how would I look in this? It's like sitting on the throne, right? Are you going to go sit up on the Iron Throne and kick your feet up there and see what it feels like? Or Ulf, kicking back at Dragonstone in the Queen's chair. You want to try it on. You want to see how it looks. And so here he is. He's checking it out. But who is he in 10 years at the end of episode 1?
Right.
Like, you just added a whole other dimension to him looking at himself in the suit in the mirror.
Yeah. It's, and I don't know, man. I just think that the story so far, they're setting up I got a lot of questions, and I don't have questions around what they're doing. Like, oh no, why are they doing this? That's not the sort of questioning that I'm questioning. It's like, oh, I wonder why they're doing this.
What does this mean? How's it going to work?
Yes.
How's it going to play out?
Yes.
How are other characters going to react to this?
And again, folks, adaptations, that people adapt the stories as long as they make good stories.
Right.
And I think this is headed in that direction, that they're making a good story. So if there are changes to the lore, I welcome it if the story is good.
It could, right, as long as it's good. Did the lantern look rather ordinary in some ways?
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Nothing too fancy.
Nothing fancy about it.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy about it.
Let's maybe save lantern lore for future episodes if the lantern itself comes more into play beyond it just being a battery. Like, what do we know about how they work that? So let's save that.
Oh, all right.
Right. Let's save that for another episode assuming that we're going to get more lantern stuff, happening on screen. My other question though is, WTF is Earl?
I don't know. I think it's a show construction.
Okay.
I don't think there's no Earl. I can't remember the Earl in Green Lantern lore.
Okay.
I might be wrong. Anybody who, can at me about that, about Hal's Earl, but I can't recall that.
Carnivorous plant. Hungry. I love how John just assumes that the plant is kind of understanding what he's saying. He just starts talking to it. Hey, Earl, I'm John.
Gotta do.
That's
show
great.
no fear, man. Can't show any fear.
He had no fear. Even when Earl gobbled up the whole box of food, he was like, dang, dude, he was hungry.
I'm
right?
not going to run out the door, and I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to feed you, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? I came here to do something, and I'm going to do it.
That's great. Which is all again goes into the character construction that they're doing for John. Which I love that they separated them. They split the party, and we each get to spend time. We get to spend time with each of them independently of each other, so we're not stuck in the buddy cop routine. But we get to see how John operates independent. We get to see how Hal operates independent.
And it's like when he walks into the greenhouse and he sees Earl, because he's not expecting that.
Right.
And he goes something like, I think he says Hal. Like he just
this guy.
Yeah,
it's
like
basically like this guy.
Like, you couldn't tell me you had a fucking alien plant. You got me thinking it's a dog, but you over here with a whole alien in your crib.
Right.
Like, why you can't tell me that? Why are you trying to surprise me with this bullshit? You know what I'm saying?
And he's like, hell yeah. Earl, spoons, just
like, you could have told me. You could have told me it's an alien carnivorous man-eating plant, bro.
Don't get too close when you feel the Earl. He gets a little aggressive. Nothing. He won't hurt you, but you might get a little saliva.
But I'm glad that they included that little shrug from John, like, this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This guy. All right, cool. Well, kidnapped is our next scene. John's kidnapped outside of Hal's house. He fights his way free, but gets knocked out by a skidding van on the freeway. The right away, well, not right away. When he wakes up after getting zapped, the guy, he's like, where's my bird? Right? You're like, oh, the bird, love the bird, right? And the dude's holding the bird. And it was at that moment when I was thinking to myself, these aren't just normal, ordinary humans of some secret agency or militia or something like that.
Oh.
If this guy is not freaked out by a green bird flying around, but he's happily holding it and whatever, these guys are not ordinary. And then when they're in the fight and he's throwing around in the van, you're like, oh yeah, these guys got super strength. There's more going on here than we expect.
Right.
And then we just have a really cool fight chase scene, running some more sort of Men in Black style, Will Smith, running around being smart and fighting kind of thing. I don't know. This was like the, taste of action that I needed for this episode to spice things up.
And I'm so happy with the way that they did the scene, and that John was clearly outclassed, right? As far from a strength aspect, but from a fighting aspect, my guy was kicking ass. Yeah, like if they had been on similar strength levels,
if these had just been other normal human beings,
yes, then John wins. Right, he wins, but he knows he can't. Right, because once that dude threw him up on the roof, he knew we got to do something else. You know what I mean? And then he took the risk of just out the back
and get as far away from these guys as I can.
Get as far away as I can, which is again tactical, and he's thinking, and all the while he's doing that, the bird is still there, and
the bird's flying, following him, through and everything. Yeah, and he's got a mission, right? Lantern. Bird.
Yep.
That's it. Yep. And that he stuck to the mission. He didn't screw around. He didn't I'm going to get all clever and try and take these guys out or anything like that. He's like, I just got to go.
One thing I liked about this scene as well was when Hal told him that the key is under the rock.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a very Superman-y thing because when Superman, in some comics and cartoons and stuff like that, Superman keeps the rock. He keeps his key for the Fortress of Solitude underneath a rock that only he can lift up.
Oh,
Right. So no one on planet Earth could possibly lift this thing.
Got
so
it.
that's where he keeps the key for his fortress. And that Hal is just like, yeah, it's under the rock. You know, that made me chuckle. That made me chuckle.
another great deep cut sort of world connecting thing. And then it's all about a frown upside down,
Yes.
potato,
Yes.
Kind of, I guess you could throw in a little bit of everything everywhere all at once kind of thing. Rock, with the googly eyes, yeah, just fun. So and if you tried to kick it, it would probably go pretty far. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, we will get into the next scene with Hal and the sheriff. And we're back. And our next scene, license and registration, please. Hal, driving around with a car full of dead aliens, gets pulled over by Sheriff Carey, who agrees to escort him to the Macon Ranch. Macon?
Dan, whatever.
At me. This was just so funny. The idea, if you and I were driving down the street with a car full of dead bodies and we got pulled over by the law,
one of us is making it, and it ain't me. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be clear. One of us is making it to trial, and that person ain't gonna be me. So that's just the facts.
A bunch of dead aliens smelling up.
That's just a fact. Dead, naked, seat belted.
Right. Goo dripping everywhere. I believe technically that is alien goo.
Oh, man.
So funny. And so the big takeaway from this, for me, is the fact that Sheriff Carey is way, way, way ahead of the game, which is what they want us to take away from this scene, right? That she is not, she's not a dopey small town sheriff. And we can kind of take the Fargo trope of Sheriff Marge Gunderson, famously played by Frances McDormand in the movie Fargo. But they're starting with that trope, but they're taking her so much further and doing so much more cool stuff with her. I just love that she's giving Hal every bit of sass back that he's giving her.
Yes.
She's as smart and wicked, funny, and sassy as he can be.
And also she tells him that, like, you are fucking my shit up.
Right.
Like,
well, we're going to get to that later.
Okay,
we got a whole thing for that.
All right.
So yeah, the idea that she knows about the alien detectors, she knows that there's a larger investigation going on. So what's really going on with her? I mean, we're going to have another conversation at the hospital. But the other thing that I got from this is the unsmooth marriage. She lets slip that there's a unsmooth marriage situation.
I mean, yeah, there's layers to Sheriff Carey that is slowly being peeled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's definitely more going on with her than what we originally thought. So it's interesting to see Hal come to that conclusion as well. Starting to realize that, one, she's way more capable than I would have given her credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And two, that, she's way more capable than I would have given her credit for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see the wheels turning in his head like, this is the second time where she's shown herself to be, like at least 10 steps ahead of where he's at.
Right.
And that has to buy you some sort of equity and some sort of, respect as far as information sharing, gathering, and all that he's going to need in order to solve this mystery. Because it's obvious there's more going on, and he's not the only person who realizes there's more going on here.
And I think that hospital scene is going to get a lot into that, and that'll be interesting when we get there. But first, let's take a quick detour to the ranch, where they're not taking visitors. At the gates of the Macon Ranch, the guards try to turn Hal and Carrie away until William rides up and is surprised that Hal is still around. Hal challenges William regarding the technology of the alien detectors. And William declines to answer. Hal pushes onto the property and is shot by a sentry sniper. And one thing that I noticed over the ranch, there were some words, but they were reversed.
Yes.
I actually had to write down the letters in proper order to get it. It says study the past. And I think it's the first time we've seen it in all the shots of the ranch. And that goes into some stuff that we're going to talk about with William in a second here. But what did you make overall of this scene?
Yeah, just Hal is, at some point you got to say, okay, let me chill. At some point you got to say, okay, I don't have the upper hand here. Let me back up a little bit.
Right.
Because
not Hal. Hal has no chill.
Yeah, he's incapable of doing that. And he's lucky that it was only a shoulder wound. And he's lucky that no one else was there with him besides Sheriff Carey, because he would have put someone else in danger. Right. And I think, that no fear thing can be a detriment. It can be a hindrance to your safety and the safety of those around you. And being a Green Lantern, you have to be able to balance that. And you can see in this moment, in this scene, that he doesn't have a balance on that. Because you're not protected here. Your ring is decharged. You have no power.
It's a sniper shot from a reaction that you can't necessarily see. It's not like you see the dude drawing the weapon. Like,
exactly.
They already have a line on you.
And even if you did see them drawing the weapon, how fast could you reasonably move to not get shot?
There's I won't give away the details, but there's a scene in the trailer that does show Hal having a very quick reaction time.
Okay.
So having that scene in my mind, in this scene, I was like, oh, like that teaches me something about it. That, yeah, you can have the ring, but if you don't see it coming, you can't react to it.
But if he has the ring, he's gonna, as soon as they say we got a line on you,
boom,
he's already suited.
Yeah. Right. You got the bubble on, you got
the minute they say that, he has his force field on. The minute they say that.
Right.
So yeah. So again, this just shows to me that over 30 years, and you were calling, you said this as well a little while ago, in that we don't know what he's had to do over these 30 years, what he's seen, what he's done over being a space cop, right? So in this moment, I really feel like that is coming to pass, because we don't know where Hal has been. We don't know the things that he's seen, but what we do know is that he can be reckless.
Right.
And does that reckless get you into more trouble more often than not? And it's quite a possibility.
Yeah. Which is why he likes working. I mean, partly working alone is good.
Probably.
In that regard,
probably.
Unless you have somebody else wearing another ring.
Right.
That can roll with you.
And even then, it's not as if you can't die. You can. You're not, indestructible just because you wear the ring.
Right. You're not Thor or somebody.
You're not immortal.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about William a little bit here. I've got an audio clip for us. Where is it? Here it is.
I told you, people who walked this land before me, they got caught flat-footed when the settlers come in and colonized them. I'm not about to make that same mistake again.
I just love how this show is laying down all this conversation around xenophobia, the past, gender relationships, racial relationships, and the fact that this guy who's coded for today, this play, to our cultural context now, is coded as a militia guy who we would think would be worried about people with more melatonin in their skin color, right? Than alien, but instead they transfer it to aliens, and he's applying the lessons of the past from the American West and what happened with native communities and colonizers from the European settlers. And they just slip that right in there. And I just love what it does to playing with our awareness and the way that we need to think about this and engage. You could blink and it could just go right by. Or you could go, oh, wait a minute, like what's going on? This is really weird. This is like this weird white guy. He's got this big ranch. He's got a big militia. They're on Native American, territory that he is, claimed for, he's got sort of dominion over it, but he's taking the lessons of the past of what was done there and applying it at a global scale. It's so interesting. And he's thinking species, not skin color. Right. So it's just, to me, so interesting. I don't know. Where are you at with this?
I mean, I love that they're bringing it into the show, like this way of talking about real world things that happen. But when he said that, they were caught flat footed, I don't necessarily, for me, it was just like, bro, the history is not about being caught flat-footed. You know what I'm saying? That's not the history. We could say they were too welcoming. We could say indigenous populations were too welcoming. But
I think the history of the West and the tribes that were in the Midwest is very different than those of the New England East Coast region.
Yeah, but I would say that without East Coast, New England, maybe there's a different outcome to the West. That would be my rejoinder. Like, right. That's without what happened on the East Coast.
I think
is expansion in the way that it occurred. Is it even possible 100 years later, 200 years later? And I don't have the answer for that, but I feel like no.
My family and my daughter very much likes documentaries and these kinds of things. And we just watched the Ken Burns on the American bison, the 2-part series on that. Fascinating, like super interesting. And you just don't realize that, the bison are a hyper object, right? They are just this really complex ecological, sociological species that is so iconic and so important in so many different ways. And it's a really cool documentary. So recommendations for everyone to go see it. But what I thought was interesting, and I think this relates to the way that William is relating to, is the settlers, the colonists who are coming in and pushing into the West. There's this rapaciousness, there's this hunger, there's this resources, there's this land that we are going to consume and take, and it's timber and it's gold and it's bison and it's, all of this stuff. And we're just like, nom, 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 giant Pac-Man sort of, munching its way across the thing. Whereas, and I'm not flattening Native American communities because they're complex and deep and lots of history and lots of stuff going on, but they, by and large, to be really broad speaking here, there was a different relationship to nature in the sense of we're going to use nature, we're going to consume it, it sustains us, but we're not also going to take every last bit of it as we can in as quick a time frame as we can. Right there we can, I think, agree. So there's this different. So if we want to talk about a flat-footedness, getting caught, quote unquote, flat-footed, that's the way that William is perceiving it from his cultural context, right?
No, I think
I'm not going to be a sucker. I'm not going to get suckered like those guys did. But he's coming from that same context of being that taker, right? Of like, we're taking this because. So for him, it is getting caught flat-footed because you're not preparing for invasion. Even though no invasion, you don't know what. But that's his frame of reference. That's his context.
No, I totally agree. We're talking about this. So a few weeks ago, I was talking to another friend of mine, and we were talking about the modern day context of racism in this country and how it plays out and why people are so okay. When I say people, white people are so okay with with a lot of the tragedies that we see every day, right? From ICE or whatever it may be. And going back to when I was a young man, we always spoke about people not wanting the horrors that were visited upon others to be visited upon themselves. So they're perfectly cool with watching it play out because the fear is that if Black, brown people become majority and have power, then the things that we did to them, they will turn around and do to us. And I think this is where
this is exactly the point. This is William's point of view.
Yeah. We did these terrible things to these people, not 100%. Because they were flat-footed, just because we are terrible. Right?
Right.
We did terrible things to people.
And that's what I'm going to expect from other.
Exactly. I am envisioning something other coming. And the only way I can frame it in my mind is that they will do to us, humanity, what we, white people, have done to those who we
Native communities here.
Lesser than.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's a more nuanced conversation that we need to have about Macon and his motivations, because it's not simply, looking out for humanity. I think it is self-serving, and 100%. It is, admission on his part, and recognition of what his culture has done to other cultures.
I think you're doing a better job of illuminating what I was trying to dig at.
Yeah.
Which is, but at the same time, loving what the showrunners are doing by injecting this into this substrate
that we can have
of
this conversation.
Story. Exactly.
In a show called Lanterns about space cops.
and weird, privileged white dudes who got lots of money.
And carnivorous aliens.
Right, exactly. So
here we are.
it's absolutely perfect. And yeah, I want to see more of this. And we're going to have more later when Zoe and John have a conversation in the cafe. I don't know. Are you a fan of Usual Suspect movie?
Yeah, one of the movies that I watch sober and high.
Kaiser Susie. Lots of my Kaiser Susie.
I love the fact that he's throwing in all the Hal is throwing in all of these little things, which is of course the voice of the showrunners and writers. But I love all these little pop culture references that are
really good stuff.
Really situates it well. And then I just have to laugh at the whole thing of Hal going like, oh, well, you got this Marlboro Man stuff going down, but the Marlboro Man, the self-sufficient frontiersman who was out there doing it on his own. Do you ever sign an NDA? Because signing an NDA is like real corporate, lawyerly, not manly man stuff. So I just love the way that he kind of F's with the whole toxic masculinity, sort of machismo persona that William has.
Yes.
Super good stuff. All right. Manhunters. John wakes up and his captor, Antan, I guess was how we're going to pronounce that. Expresses.
Yes, Antan.
Expresses surprise at the bird construct. Antan explains that he's hunting a manhunter, one of an ancient race of shape-shifting synthetic beings that once devastated his homeworld. He forces John to relive relive that genocide through a memory device. And he tells John that his people have tracked the manhunter to Rushville, but they can't get close without being detected. He gives John 48 hours to identify the manhunter, or they will destroy the town. Big shout out to Paul Ben-Victor, who's playing Antan. Great character actor. I was looking up his IMDb list the other day, and I was just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. That dude has mad credits listed to him. So really fun to see him. Really, really great character actor. What did you think about the whole interrogation scene?
Oh, this was great. We get 2 different interrogation scenes.
Right.
In 2 weeks.
Yep.
First 2 episodes. And the second one with John and Atan, when he looks at him and he says, "What are you going to do now? Torture me?"
Yeah.
You know, at no point did the alien being interrogated by Hal think to themselves that, is Hal the Green Lantern going to torture me? But
right.
John's point of reference is these are bad people, so bad people are going to do bad things, and they're going to torture. That speaks to what his lens.
Right, exactly.
His
Context.
Lens. Yes.
Yeah. I can't imagine not being tortured by somebody who's violently captured.
Who's got me, tied up and asking me questions. So the next thing they're going to do is start, trying to break bones and all of that stuff.
Right.
The way that they didn't show what happened, right? When they implanted the memories into John.
I have I have a bunch of notes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, go, keep going.
No, so
but I love this point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The way they didn't show it worked. We just get to see John's reaction to what's being downloaded into his brain directly.
Mm-hmm. And
you can see how much sadness and pain in his face. This was a great moment for Aaron Pierre to shine without saying words. And you just got to feel the pain of these people who are saying that our whole civilization was destroyed. And we're here for vengeance, right? We're here to get our get back. And that is,
which is what, I forget the guy's name, but the guy who goes interrogated last week who blew himself up. What are you here for? Vengeance.
What else?
Yeah.
Right? What else?
Close the circle on that.
And then you see it, you see the pain in John's face. Just excellent stuff. Because I thought they were going to show us as they brought the needle thing, whatever, I thought we were going to see it. But not seeing it worked way more better emotionally for me than having to see it.
Do you remember the torture scene in Andor with Bix and the sound of the dying alien thing?
Yeah.
Spoilers for Andor. Come on. Like who's listening to our podcast that has not seen all of Andor multiple times? Like that there's no Venn diagram there. You're a lore hound. You've seen Andor. I don't know. That's my opinion about it. But I love how the fact that in that one, they also did not play the sound for us. Because our imaginations and our anticipation of what that sound might be or what these scenes might be is far, far, far more powerful than anything that they could construct and show us on screen. And to me, that's just expert level show crafting and design that they did. That never once even did they, who knows? But that they didn't even give us a little flash of nothing. That was just, to me, perfect. Did you notice, though, on the device, the color of the light?
It didn't hit. I didn't peep it until you mentioned it.
Orange.
Yeah.
Does that? I don't know what orange means in
avarice.
In this world.
Avarice. So I don't know.
Does it play? I don't know.
I don't think so because that's not who I think Anton is.
Okay. Fair enough. So, all right. So, we're looking for the theories. We're an ant colony out here. We're hive mind. We're looking for every angle. We're looking at everything in there. I did love the wordplay between Anton and John, and the definition and meanings of words, and sort of playing like a little dictionary game, and that's instantly sort of how John deduces that they're aliens, right? He takes he takes a page out of Hal's book in the interrogation from before.
Yes.
Okay, there's what you know and what you've been trained to know, but what is it that you don't know?
That reveals all.
The negative space, the non-answer, or the missing context, that's what's more telling than it is whether you can tell me who, the 44th president of the United States was. So good. And obviously they know his name and they know how the rings work. So they've obviously done all this sort of intelligence and know about him because they're hunting a manhunter.
Right.
Right. And so, and if these guys are this good, what does it mean that they can't get close to this manhunter? That sets a scale and a stakes for us that these guys have bombs, woven into their physique, that it's really hard to detect them by Earth technology. And it takes this extremely special technology that only William Macon has to detect them. And they're like, yo, we can't get close. So what does that tell you? That tells you that manhunters, that they've shown us manhunters are this dangerous because these mofos over here who are really, 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 really capable, and they know a lot, and they know how to defeat a Green Lantern and a Green Lantern trainee and all this stuff. Right. Then a manhunter is something to be feared and something to worry about. We got into a big conversation over in Dungeons and Durags last week. It's a very funny. Big conversation. Ron was trying to figure out, because seems like there's two manhunters in the world.
They're not two manhunters.
Okay.
They're not two manhunters.
Okay. So break it down for us.
There is the Martian manhunter. Separate, totally not this.
Okay.
Martian manhunter is the last of his kind from Mars.
Okay.
His brother committed genocide and destroyed everybody that looked like him, green Martians. Okay, he can shapeshift, he can fly, he's damn powerful, he can get into your mind, he's a telepath, he's just an OP character. That is Martian Manhunter, right? Manhunters are robots created by the Guardians to be the first space police. But they went overboard and started genociding everything.
A little Ultron-like?
No, because it's not just one.
No, but I meant like in the sense of...
not even get rid of all organics. No, not in that.
No, just in the start, hey, we need a security system that's really effective.
Yes. So those are the Manhunters. They were the original space cops that went rogue. They broke evil. They broke bad. So this is what we're dealing with. They're not the same. Martian Manhunter is not the same as the Manhunters.
Done. Debate over.
Yes.
It's good. So, and we got the why and the where and the how for on the Manhunter. So, OP, like crazy powerful, original.
The Manhunters are really powerful.
Got it.
They're really one of the most powerful. They're one of the most powerful forces in DC Comics. They are really powerful. Yes.
So that then brings around later. We get Hal actually saying, "Oh, well, maybe that's what caused Abin Sur to get taken out, and why I ended up with the ring." It's Hal's theory. We don't know if that's a valid theory or not. It's a theory that needs to be tested. It's a good theory. It's a good theory to carry around.
Yes.
But are we going to be surprised if that's not the functional theory in the end? Like that's not the theory that we really should have been holding on to. Is that a red herring?
That's a good point. It could be, because I'm definitely in the camp, in Hal's camp.
Okay.
Like, Abensur had a manhunter as a prisoner. They killed him.
Which is
Landed
not
on Earth.
what happened in the comics.
Yeah. So,
or explained in comics, subsequent comics and other imprint variations and stuff
so
like that.
we want to know, is this, yes, that's what I want to know. I want to know that this is how the manhunter came to Earth.
So here is now my pet theory on what's going on with the militia. It's not a theory that I'm putting internet points on. I'm not wagering anything big here, but it's a thought that I had when I was doing my second watch the other day, that what if, not unlike a Bond villain, the villain always has a henchman army. And if they're planning stuff and doing stuff, you need people, right? What was the original Avengers, the television show with Agent, whatever his name was, and help me out here, Jean. What was the TV show?
Oh gosh, I hate when you put me on the spot, David.
That's we gotta rely on our maesters here.
No, I don't know. I'm on the spot.
It was anyway, that TV show that was on before the Avengers movie started. It was on, it was a Marvel series.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Thank you. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Gosh.
That was hard. Deep pull, that was hard for you?
Man,
come on.
Yes, that was difficult for me.
And what's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? What's S.H.I.E.L.D.'s counter nemesis force?
Hydra.
Right? Hydra has you could have different enemy, bosses, but they all have henchmen and doing stuff, right? What if the Manhunter secretly is manipulating the xenophobes and the Macon family to create this armed militia force and henchmen as a kind of cloak and protection? Where better to hide than amongst the midst of these xenophobes, these, speciesists, and have an army at the same time who can, ready to rock and roll at a moment's notice, right? That against your human enemies and alien enemies likewise. That would be a pretty strategically advantageous thing. Now, I'm not saying I'm not putting any points. I'm just posing a what if question. What if the Manhunter is, maybe the Manhunter's not even the mysterious benefactor. Maybe the Manhunter is Noah, right? Maybe the Manhunter is Zoe. We don't know. We don't know yet. But what if the Manhunter is using the militia as a kind of cloak at the same time of having a handy dandy duck that can shoot an AR-15.
I like it. I like it. I actually think that the Manhunter is the benefactor, and the benefactor is using the militia, just like you just said.
Okay, right. The benefactor as the Manhunter. That's an obvious point, right?
Yes,
it's a very.
I'm going
simple
with the obvious.
Okay, very good. It just is what it is. We don't have to. Walks like a duck, shoots an AR-15 like a duck. It's a duck.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of getting shot, they shot me. Hal wakes cuffed to a hospital bed, and Carrie tells him he brought the shooting on himself. She presses him about Sinestro, a name he has said in his sleep, and then she recites back the public record about a lantern who tried a coup and killed a guardian before Hal took him down, though Hal won't confirm anything further. She uncuffs him only after he agrees to stop storming the compound, and admits she was wrong to assume Wayland wasn't an alien since he never tripped the detector. She deflects his questions about herself beyond being from Gotham and moving to Rushville on a whim. Leaving the hospital, Hal notices that the hospital is oddly overbuilt for such a small town.
Yeah, this was another great great scene between the two of them. And just, I love how she, I need to know a lot more about Sheriff Carey.
Yeah.
She throws in Gotham. She throws in her last name is Kane. And for those folks out there, Martha Kane is Bruce Wayne's mother. So is there a connection between Sheriff Carey, whose maiden name is Kane, last name is Kane,
Okay.
and the Wayne family and Martha Kane's family? Is she and Bruce cousins? I don't know.
Okay.
Interesting to find out.
Okay.
She says, I think she's on the phone with Gordon. Yeah. Was
In this episode?
It was last episode, right?
Can't
She's
remember.
on the phone and she says, thanks. She thanks Gordon and asks how Babs is.
Has to be last episode.
I think it was last episode.
Maybe when Hal walks into the police station,
Yeah.
or when somebody. Yeah.
But those things pointing to
Got it.
Gotham, and
Okay.
Babs is Barbara Gordon, who's also Batgirl,
Okay.
and her nickname is Babs.
Okay.
So, and now here we have her saying, Gotham specifically and Kane specifically, and I'm just thinking about how she connected to Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
How she connected to, the stories in Gotham, and what is she doing out here in the middle of nowhere?
Mm-hmm.
Did she run away from Gotham for some reason?
On a whim.
Right. Or was she forced to get out of Gotham for some reason?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, maybe it was love at first, but I don't know how much love there is now with her and what's his name? The husband.
It's not smooth, William,
Right.
or not William, Billy.
Billy, sorry. So yeah, I don't know how much love there is there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So is this a marriage that, she convenience, love, but all these little tidbits around her backstory, about her history, is really interesting. And I think this was what stood out to me most in this scene, as well as when they're leaving and Hal says, we're looking at the hospital. It's empty, but there's a lot of stuff in there, but there are no patients.
Yeah.
So what is all of this stuff for? Like, I'm very confused about this hospital. He goes through the book, the sign-in sheet.
Right. Is all
There are
empty.
no other names.
Mm-mm.
What kind of games are we playing here in Rushville? What's happening?
And all the equipments and, packing, plastic around it and everything like that. So
Is this brand new construction? Is it a new hospital? Is it
why? Is it in anticipation for
of
something?
something? Yeah. Are they preparing, like you said, are they preparing to receive trauma victims?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is happening here?
Got it.
So a lot more questions about Carey and a lot more questions about Rushville proper I had just within this scene.
Nice. Good show, asking lots of cool questions. Real quick, Tom Osborne's name gets dropped twice. Did you know this? I mean, obviously I had to look it up on the internet because I don't know this. He's a football coach, legendary former coach of the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers, won 3 national championships in 94, 95, and 97. Became a politician after he retired from coaching, and he was a Republican member of the U.S. House of Representatives. And he's widely regarded as a cultural icon and folk hero across the state of Nebraska. So Hal is just sort of referencing a local notable here, but he's sort of really digging in, which is funny because if she's not from here, then, okay, maybe she's probably definitely heard of him, but it's not going to carry any cultural heat or spin for her in the same way as it would a native, somebody who's, sort of grown up as a Cornhusker and,
Right.
really, really into the culture and everything like that. So, Hal is just sort of referencing a local notable here, but he's sort of really digging in, which is funny because if she's not from here, then, okay, maybe she's probably definitely heard of him, but it's not going to carry any cultural heat or spin for her in the same way as it would a native, somebody who's, sort of grown up as a Cornhusker and, really, really into the culture and everything like that. the thing that I really loved about this, and we got to talk
yes,
about
I did know about Tom Osborne.
Okay. It's like, who's Tom Osborne? I'd love to see the trending search with like how many people are like, that's a great way. If you're a show, you're like, okay, what's our engagement and penetration with the show? It's like, okay, let's slip in some random, let's note the current level of Tom Osborne searching. Right. Now we have a baseline, and then we drop our episode, and then let's measure the sort of D+3, D+7, searches. Then we can see, how big is our show. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting all nerdy about stuff like that. What really interested me, though, was the relationship between Hal and Carrie here, and Carrie pushing back, having to actually chain a man to the bed to get him to listen to her point of view, saying,
Not until you listen to me. Can you manage that?
She's got to chain him down to get him to listen.
Because every time you don't listen, or you steal bodies, or storm my father-in-law's compound, and don't let me do the talking, what you're really doing is cutting my legs straight out from under me. I'm the sheriff. If you don't follow my lead, you're legitimizing this idea that Macon is the seat of power. And trust me, you do not want to help push that narrative. This is my town. I have worked my ass off to earn people's respect, and I can't have you undermining that.
You're right.
So to me, there's a couple of things going on here. The legitimizing a power angle, and then the angle of I'm the sheriff, and without saying it, what's happening underneath here is a man is undermining the authority of a woman. And the only way she can get him to listen to her is she actually has to take him prisoner.
Gotta handcuff him to the bed.
and
after he had surgery.
And actually tell him you're not free to go until you actually get what I am saying. And he gets it to his credit, to his detriment, right? He's pushing it, but he pushes everybody. But at the end of this, he actually does get it. And then they share another moment, which we'll play a second in a minute. But that, yeah, she's a Marge Gunderson trope, right? She's, oh, shucks, gosh, I'm just the sheriff. Small town, all that sort of hokey shit. But no.
She's
and it's unfair for any of us to assume that she is any less. She's a freaking sheriff, for God's sakes. The training you have to go through, the years that you have to put in, the politicking that you have to do, the management that you have to do. It is not an easy thing to be a lead enforcement, law enforcement officer anywhere in the world under any circumstances. And she says, I have worked my ass off to gain respect in this town so that people accept me. Because then later at the end of the scene, we learn that she's not from here.
Right, exactly. She's from Gotham. There's nothing small town about her.
Mm-mm.
And I think the assumption that Hal made was that everything was small town about her.
Bad assumption to be making.
No. She's like 10 steps ahead of you, man.
Yeah.
At every turn.
And we learned that with John, right? He was like, oh, shit, I fucked up by coming down here. And she was like, yeah, you did.
So,
I may talk like a small town sheriff, but I am, I'm way ahead of the game here on all y'all.
Was she on the Gotham PD? Was she close with Jim Gordon, who's the commissioner, right? Who's a great detective? And was she close with Batman, who is considered the greatest detective in DC Comics?
Right.
So there's nothing small town or hokey about her. No. And they made the assumption that she was all small town hokiness.
So again, here we are layering in social issue, real world, social issues into our,
she said she had to work to get these people to accept me, to recognize that I know what the fuck I'm doing,
So here's the other audio clip. And the reason this one jumped out at me is the noun that has been turned into a verb, which I absolutely love.
I apologize for trying to obstruct you. I just didn't want Billy's dad insurrecting the shit out of everyone and getting them all paranoid about invasion. So much for that plan.
I love the fact that insurrecting is a verb.
You know I'm going to use it.
It's so good.
Use it for these mofos. I'm taking that and running with it.
Insurrecting, right? That is so clever. Again, just layering in. Real time note, interesting here. Ron just dropped the Dungeons and Do-Rags podcast for episode 2. Obviously, we're behind because of life scheduling. But apparently, Edu is concerned about Lindelof's involvement in the show. So I'm like really super. I got to go over and watch. I got to hear what the concerns are, because I'm loving the fact that Lindelof. Now, I don't know Lindelof outside of the shows and things that he's producing, but the shows that he has been producing, I need to know why there might be concern about that. Do you have any concern?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right.
I do not.
Make sure I'm not missing something.
I do not. So it's going to be interesting to hear what the concerns are. Definitely.
Yes, for sure. All right, let's do this. Let's before we talk about the cafe scene, let's take one more break, and then we'll finish up the episode. And we're back. How's your white man doing? John runs into Zoe at the cafe. They talk about their respective white men, with Zoe clarifying that she's willing to put up with her husband's eccentricities for the security that he provides. John confesses that he doesn't know if he can trust Hal, and Zoe's retort pulls him up short. Okay. Should we start off with a little quote here of let's play the little quip from this.
White men have the privilege of being eccentric. White men with money, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Play cowboy, build castles.
You like that?
Yeah, I like the security. I also like that he could have brought some blonde pepper from Texas to be his arm candy, but he wanted me.
Whew. They just... And then when she asks him, he's like, he sent me to fetch his stuff. Right? You know, I am picked by the Guardians to be a backup Green Lantern, and you got me out here playing valet because you're too lazy to bring your own damn lantern. You got to make me go do it.
And your suit.
And good thinking that he brought it, because
exactly.
Turns out he wanted it. Thoughts?
I love this conversation that they're having. I just, the calculations that you have to make are not for me to, that women have to make are not for me to discuss. You know what I'm saying? How you view love and what matters and what doesn't matter, that's for each individual person. It's interesting that she recognizes that Macon is not just eccentric, but he is exactly what she described. And she knows it.
Yep. And she says, I'm not, what was the line? I didn't grab this clip, but he's her husband and she loves him.
Right. And she knows that he loves her. And she's not running away.
Regardless of whatever the extracurricular activities of any partner are, with consent, without consent, without, whatever. We don't know the shape of we don't know what the agreements are between those two consenting adults.
And I sat there watching that scene, and afterwards I thought about, the vice president of these United States and his xenophobic and racist and absolutely horrendous views of who should be allowed to be citizens of this country when he has a wife and a whole family
ethnically from another,
who
can trace roots back to another country.
If we went down the road that he wanted to go down, his wife, his children would not be here. right?
Right.
So I'm watching this play out and I'm thinking about that in terms with Macon, because I firmly believe, as we've been talking about, that this militia man is a fucking racist.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong.
Speciesist. I think he's a speciesist.
I'm talking before he learned of the existence.
Okay, got it. Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Right. And again, I could be wrong. I might be making assumptions. I don't know. But he gives me that vibe. The vibes that I get from him. And I think that Zoe knows this and is still there. Right. And that's
what calculations has she had to make
exactly
to get there.
The second thing that I'll say about this scene is that when he sits down, and this is why I believe there's a large part of me that does not believe that she is the manhunter.
Okay.
Or the benefactor. Or
some people are having fun with that theory, though, because it would be kind of a funny thing to have John go, oh, dang, I got busy with the manhunter.
So the reason why I don't believe it is when he sits down, you see the bird, the green bird, right behind his head, facing Zoe, right?
Uh-huh.
On the table, we see the yellow mustard container, and behind Zoe, we see a yellow chicken.
Damn.
So
Jean's bringing the receipts on this scene.
So yeah, I had to watch it again.
Nice.
To make sure that I was seeing what I was seeing.
Proper.
And I said, oh, what's with the yellow?
Mm-hmm.
What's with the face-off between the yellow and the green?
Green.
Like John, they're facing each other, Zoe and John.
Mm-hmm.
And John's green construct is right behind and facing this yellow chicken that is right behind Zoe. It just made me feel that she's not the manhunter. But again, I have a track record of being wrong about all of this stuff. My track record is horrendous.
Got it.
But I thought it was a nice little play of possibilities within this scene.
Interesting if the bird was some sort of indicator of, how would we say it? Making, like validating that this is not the manhunter.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it was in, like, the bird was in somehow indicating to John, like, this person is not.
Right. Warning, like literally being a canary. It was just the way
that it was framed, just like these opposing forces that we know in the lore are opposing forces. And we have this, face off between both John and Zoe and potentially those colors on the spectrum, the green and the yellow.
Interesting. Dang. There's like so many. This show just keeps opening up more questions and more questions and more questions, and that's just great. I love it. Okay, I don't have much more for this scene. Should we jump forward?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Pour one out for the bird. Back at the motel, John reports into Hal, who's now able to recharge the ring. He declares he's not leaving Rushville until, as he's convinced the benefactor is the key to whatever's on the compound. John divulges to Hal that Wayland's people abducted him and that they believe a manhunter is hiding in the town. Hal refuses to believe the Guardians would hide a manhunter on Earth, and then works out for himself that Abensur must have brought the creature to Rushville. And then John insists that his bird is just a construct. This scene for me was really the heart of the episode. Everything was leading forward to this, and having them come back together after we've gotten to spend time with them individually and seeing John act with real concern, like, oh, dang, you got hurt. Like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And then Hal being his flip self. And then John's just like, F you, man. Here's your shit.
Right.
Like, I'm going to bed. Right. And like, right back to where we were. And then the car and the escalation of the frustration and the anger between them. And then he's pissed. John's disrespected him because he's not treating, he's completely just trashed this car. I got to deal with that now, not you. So thanks for that. And then he drops the Manhunter line when he was asked to keep that a secret from Hal. And this scene is so complex, and I just don't, it's so satisfying. It's so interesting. And I just don't know yet how to parse all of what happened emotionally between these two guys, because it's a really complex thing. Being, his trainee, being the trainee, respecting the chain of command, knowing that and learning from him. I'm like, dang, you are like a really good investigator, but you're treating me like shit. You make me fetch your things. You trash the car that I'm going to have to deal with now. And then I got jacked because your ass. Nobody trusts your ass. And I don't know if I trust you.
Right.
But now I am going to trust you. And I'm going to tell you what went down. And
right.
This big secret about Manhunter stuff. Really just a great way for me. I just felt so satisfied at the end of this scene. The episode could have ended here and I would have been good.
Right.
Right. To me, emotionally, the scene ended here. The stinger sort of thing with Dr. Lecter. I'm sorry. I mean, with Sinestro. Right. That even just kicks it to this whole other level because we actually go off planet in the episode. But,
right.
Emotionally, right here was where things ended. And it's funny and it's heartbreaking at the same time. And then he crushes the bird. I don't know. It's just so much more. I can't. Where are you at with all this? I got to talk this through.
The first thing that stood out to me was, again, a call to the previous scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because she tells John, if you have to ask, then you already know the answer.
You know the answer.
It's don't trust him. All right? If you got to ask that question, you already know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Don't trust him. And what does he do? He decides to trust him. So again, Zoe is,
it's not bad advice, though.
It's not bad advice, but it is advice that would potentially be a thorn
mm-hmm.
in this budding, relationship between him and Hal, a functioning relationship between him and Hal.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, if she wanted to spike the relationship, that's one in that you could get there.
Absolutely. So let's see about Zoe. And again,
she's got more going on than just being. There's more going on over there.
So now we get to what I started off earlier in the pod we were talking about. And one of my takes was that we get to see them maybe beginning to lay the foundation to actually work together and to trust each other. To have this, go beyond, go do what I tell you because I tell you that you need to do it,
mm-hmm.
to potentially coming into partnership with each other around this mystery. Maybe not around John becoming Hal's understudy,
mm-hmm.
but around this problem. Let us try to solve this problem, lay the groundwork, and then see where it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was the first time in these two episodes where I could see both of them making those calculations, because John makes the calculation that I got to start trusting him. Maybe I don't want to, keep things that maybe I shouldn't keep from him. I got to see how this goes.
Right.
And we already saw earlier in the episode where Hal is like, oh shit, there's more to him than I gave credit, because he did this damn bird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now he came back with the bird.
He fulfilled the whole mission and more.
And more. He got extra information that I had no idea about.
He got jacked and he got away from, he lived through that, right? And came with more intel.
So,
and he's trusting you with that intel.
yes. And I thought that was a nice way to potentially set up a cooling of the hotheads that they've each had towards each other.
And Hal is cooled down because when he had the conversation with Carrie in the
yes.
hospital, granted she had to take extreme measures, which no woman should have to do to get, somebody to listen to them. But he actually did climb down.
Yeah. And
off his attitude.
That is, yeah. And John had to go through these extreme measures of being kidnapped, of having her running on the highway, caring for a construct for most of the day, and not even understanding that how impressive that would have been without Anton telling him. Mm-hmm. Right, he wouldn't know because Hal wasn't going to tell him, wasn't going to say anything.
Right.
Hal would just kept that information to himself. He wouldn't have said
because Anton was like, this is like next level.
Right.
This is like several next levels up.
Hal wasn't going to give that up. He wasn't going. He would have made a checklist. I'm not saying he wouldn't have noticed it,
right?
But I don't think he would have given it up to John to let him know how impressive a feat this was.
No. Nice. I liked how Hal kind of rushed through the Green Lantern mono.
That broke my heart.
Motto when he recharged.
No, that broke my heart. That broke my heart. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I'm like, oh man, he's sitting there. His shoulders are hunched. He's been shot. He looks ragged. He looks like he hasn't slept really. He gets his battery. He's like, like I gotta say this shit.
Now, canonically, do you have?
No,
to
you
say
don't
it?
have to say it.
Okay,
you don't have to say it.
You just plug it in and
Hal, but in his character, Hal likes to reaffirm. At least that's how I've always read it. Mm-hmm. Like he likes to reaffirm his belief why he's doing what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Right. And you see that it means something to him in episode 1 when the alien he's interrogating starts to say the oath and he's like, don't fucking say that shit. Right. Don't you say it.
Don't do it.
Don't you mock this. Don't mock it. Right. And here we have him, an episode later just dejectedly saying it.
Well, kind of, and maybe embarrassed because he's got to say it in front of the thing, but he still, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot there.
I don't even think it was embarrassment because there's nothing that would embarrass Hal Jordan to me.
So going back to the interrogation scene, isn't that interesting that Hal gets upset when the alien Wayland says, starts teasing him about it?
Yeah. Because he takes it seriously.
That's something deep in Hal. So no matter all this kind of other bullshit that he throws up as a smokescreen, as a defense mechanism, that he's got to maintain this public persona, he's got to be able to take selfies with people, he's got to sit with the Pope, all these things.
That oath
means something
yes.
to him.
Yes. And for him to rush through it in that way, and it's not even rushed. It's just sad the way that he's sitting there saying those. That made me, I was like, oh man. Come on.
He should have been like, yo, John, come over here, check it out. This is what we do. This is our little ritual.
Even if he doesn't bring John over.
Right.
But
you know what I'm saying? There's
darkest, and brightest day, darkest, he's like, feel the oath, which you were ready to take somebody's head off for mocking a few hours or a few days prior. And now you just want to get through it. That told me a lot about where John is right now.
So good. That's so good. I love too how the ring has a finite charge.
Yeah.
And the lantern, you got to keep track of it. You probably don't want anybody else getting at it. It's like a phylactery. What is it? Like, like in fantasy things, the super powerful lich mage, whatever. You've got to keep the piece of your soul hidden away, or you have to keep your true name hidden so nobody has power over you. Like there's all that kind of tropey, those kinds of tropes. I'm not using trope in the negative. I'm saying the pattern of storytelling that we have. And so this lantern is a kind of, they're not OP. The ring doesn't give you everything. It can run out of charge. You can get shot. Again, great stakes setting, right? The fact that you can get shot if you don't keep track of your lantern and your charges. You're as mortal and as fragile as any other living being out here. So they've really created a scale and they've given us an XY axis here by which to gauge the power levels of these aliens, of the Manhunters, of the Green Lanterns. And they're not just everything is everything, but there's an actual power curve here that actually means something, and that's going to have stakes. As the stakes play out, the power curve that you've established in this world building is going to have meaning for who can do what, when, and how.
Right.
We've created a world. We've set these characters up. We've set them running now in here, and they can't violate these rules.
Right.
I remember in the show that shall not be named, there was a character that was just like, oh, wait, is this now the most powerful character in the whole of the MCU for all time ever?
Never to be seen again.
Right? Right? So everything is everything. There's no equivalency. There's no scale. Like, okay, you're here on this. It's like those little posters of, how big things are. Oh, you stack the Statue of Liberty next to the Eiffel Tower, next to the Titanic, and like, what's the size here? So they've actually created that for us through dialogue, through character, through dramatic action.
Man, as long as that ring is powered, man, you are one of the most powerful beings in the universe.
Right.
As long as that ring is powered, because once it's not powered,
it's just a ring, just a hunk of metal.
That's it.
And you got to have a lantern. And can it be any lantern, or does it have to be your lantern?
No. Your lantern.
And then but we're going to talk in future episodes about how the lanterns work. So let's put a pin in that for now and go to the last and final scene. Good morning, Dr. Lecter. Sinestro. Hal suits up, flies off to an off-world to see Thal Sinestro, a former Lantern. He asks what Sinestro knows about Manhunters, and Sinestro says that one would be the second biggest threat Hal is currently facing, then turns the question back on him. What do you know, Hal, about John Stewart? And the episode ends with a song called Human Condition by Pretty Sick as the outro music, and Pretty Sick is now in heavy rotation on my Spotify playlist. I did not know that I needed some like neo-punk, girl band, badass, whatever. I don't know anything about this band, Pretty Sick, but they are. This song was perfect, and I was fist pumping the episode. I was like, "Yeah, baby, let's go! Episode 3, bring it on!" I was just psyched at the end of this. The lyrics, one of the lyrics of the song. He takes me out and says, let's do business. He's a bad guy, but I believe in forgiveness. I want to do something that matters. Takes a meeting because he likes my vision. I'm not opportunistic. No, I'm just ambitious. Want to be someone that matters. And they didn't write the song for the show, and the show didn't write for the song, but like those words are just poetry for me, for John, for Hal meeting Sinestro, John trying to work with Hal, like just the whole mess of the characters here that we've got going on. Great song to end the credits. Where are you at with it? Like there's some,
what? First of all, Sinestro looks amazing. So let's, Sinestro trained Hal.
Trained him, not only.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
okay.
He was Hal's trainee.
Okay.
Hal was his trainee. Sinestro is his mentor. And Hal had to go against his mentor, the person he looked up to, because he was doing some bad shit. He was, not genocidal shit, but he was just a fascist.
Okay. Okay.
And he had to bring him down. And that was a big deal for Hal Jordan, you know?
Part of
and
what
their entire,
maybe has ground him down a little bit.
Maybe. And their entire relationship is so acrimonious because there was a real genuine affection and respect for one another prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sinestro planting the seed of suspicion about John to Hal, much like Zoe planted those seeds or tried to plant those seeds
to
interesting.
John. Okay.
About Hal.
How does he know about how does he know about John in prison?
Right. And, you know, it's interesting to see if Hal will listen to his mentor and keep that distance, or will he take John's olive branch and try to form that partnership that I was talking about earlier? So that's what I'm on the lookout in the series.
Okay.
How does Hal react to knowing that John kept that construct going, and now his mentor, even though he's in jail, he's still Sinestro, is telling him, you know, that's not the only thing you got to worry about is the manhunters. How much do you know about this John Stewart?
And that there's a bigger threat, bigger than manhunters. And all the while they've been telling us that manhunters are the top apex threat.
What does that mean for how Hal is going to view and treat John going forward? Is this why John grows a mustache and goatee? You know what I'm saying? 10 years later, because Hal put him through some shit. My man had to grow some facial hair. You know what I mean?
Like chill out somewhere and just like be.
You know, so yeah, this is really, this was a great way to end the episode with some expectation going forward. And I love how they brought in not just the manhunters, but Hal's at his, I don't know if Hal's at his lowest right now, but it just feels that way to me. And he's the person that he goes to is Sinestro.
He's pressed.
He doesn't go anywhere else. He goes straight to Sinestro.
That's interesting.
Tell me what can you tell me about this? What do
he does it. He puts on the suit and he's hypersonic.
Yes, and then he puts on the suit. Yes, he hasn't put on the suit for how long?
And do you need the suit to fly, whatever? But he puts it on, and he's hypersonic. There is not. He just boom. I gotta go, and then
I gotta go talk to this guy.
This of all the dudes that I've ever worked with, I don't go to Green Lantern headquarters. I don't go to see the little blue dudes. I don't go to see my buddy in the sector next door. You know, whatever.
I gotta go talk to this guy, who I locked up.
What do we know about this space planet? Does it matter, or like is it in critical?
No, I don't know anything about the prison planet that he's on.
Okay,
or the prison that he's currently on.
Not necessary, except for the warheads.
Yeah.
Okay.
If somebody else has an idea or they know, I'll be
bring it on.
Very happy to hear.
Right. Maybe Connor's got some thoughts. All right. Well, I think that's us. That's the episode. Any wrap up thoughts, or are we good?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good with this season. Season 1, episodes 1 and 2 have kept up the bar that I thought they were going to need. And yeah, I'm anticipating episode 3.
Psyched. I'm ready for it. I like House of the Dragon was kind of work. You know, it's
in a way, I know what you mean. I know
there's lore, right?
Yeah.
The characters are you know, it's kind of heavy in some ways. And I'm not saying that this is any less complex, but I don't feel like I'm having to work to cover the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just flowing. I want to get to when I do my breakdowns in second watch, like I want to do it. It's not like laborious.
You know what it is to me? I think the Game of Thrones, that universe has so many people who are really down to the nitty-gritty of detail.
Yeah. Star Wars, Tolkien.
Yes.
Like there's these worlds that people are just
Martin has
insane. Martin's in the same class.
Same class as those.
Yeah.
And I think comic books, because of the nature of the storytelling, where you could have one thing for 10 years, for 5 years, for 20 years, and then you get a new writer, or the comic book company decides they want to go in a new direction, and everything that you knew for the last 10 years is gone.
They just change it straight up.
Right. So I think that makes it for a less stressful viewing and less stressful to talk about. Yeah. Because the nature of the medium is such that changes are part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what was real on page in 1972, 1982, 92, 2002 is not necessarily what's on page in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take away from those stories.
Right.
It's just a new direction, a new story, a new way to tell the stories of these characters. You don't have that with Martin. And we have to kind of be aware of that when we're talking about, that IP. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm loving it.
So am I.
And
I loved House of the Dragon. Just
right. We're not dogging those guys. Yeah.
Loved House of the Dragon.
It's just different. It's just a different experience.
It is.
It's a different level of engagement.
It is.
Speaking of engagement and different levels, let's give a quick shout out to our community volunteers, to our Dunedin, hand of the pod, Nancy. Thank you all again so much for all the work that you did for House of the Dragon. Master of Polls, Captain of the Poll Hero, Peter O.H., Keeper of the Tracker. We got to figure out Sub-Zero. If you're listening, man, come on, or other people on the Discord, give us a better name for the show tracker. If you haven't checked out the show tracker, you got to check out the show tracker. We keep track of all the shows that we curate. We keep a curated list of movies and shows in a Notion database, and it's just something we make freely available to the community. To our librarian, Brian8063, and moderators Brian8063 and Aaron K on the Discord. Our Discord server boosters: Aaron K, Tiller the Thriller, Duve71, Thina Ajalea, Lestu, Nancy M, Ghost of Perdition, Radioactive Richard, and Adrian. Thank you all so very much for keeping our server a fun and active place. And to our Lore Masters, our top tier subscribers, who literally, without their support, we could not do what we do. Samartian, Michael G, Michelle E, SC, Peter O.H., Nancy M, Duve71, Brian8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Gareth C, Andra B, Kwang Yu, Nathan T, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Dally B, Mothership, Gnarls, Kathy W, Lestu, Jeffrey B, Elisa U, Ben B, Scott F, Stephen N, Julia F, Coley S, Il Mariel, Rocky Zim, Jessica A, Red Zippy, the TCS, LNR, Miss Tennant, AC Wilson, Eli W, Cassie K, Chumba Rooney, Catilla, Josh Liu, Paint in PDX, Corey G, Quinch, Jeannie L, Slobinator, newest lore master, Cassandra C, and forever last, but never least, Adrian. Thank you all so very much. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate all our subscribers, and we appreciate all our listeners. Jean, I appreciate you as well.
Thank you. And can't wait until Sunday.
We'll see you all next week.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to The Lorehounds. Please send any questions or feedback to lorehounds@thelorehounds.com or dcu@thelorehounds.com, and check out our Supercast and Patreon feeds for ad-free access and bonus episodes. Look for all those links, including links to all the other podcasts in our network, in the link tree in the show notes. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities.